Hey guys, let's go over how to play the Rankup team in its entirety. I don't have his buff, so we're gonna do this with Anali, but yeah, not a lot changes. If you wonder how to play his buff, I have a guide for her on my channel. So the very first thing on the very first turn that you always want to do is you want to unlock the ultimates for the character Via and for Mercuria, both on turn 1, so both of those are ready on turn 2. Now you can see both Mercuria and Via, they have 3 Moxie accumulated, so with each of these characters we have to use an incantation, 2 incantations in fact, this turn. What you always want to do anyways is you want to use the buff on the character Marcus, on your main DPS that deals mental damage. Since we have to, right. Let's go with Mercuria's incantation, crit. This is what you always, every single time wanna do, every 2 turns. Now we have to accumulate 2 more Moxie with these characters, so we use 1 more incantation with Via and 1 more incantation with Mercuria just to accumulate the Moxie for turn 2.
I must push on. Calm down. Did I miss something?
And here we have them. This is of course what you immediately gonna use. After you accumulated enough Moxie with Via and Mercuria, you wanna see that you get rolling with the other 2 characters, with Marcus and Anli. So first you're gonna use these ultimates. Now you would want to get rolling with Marcus. You have to always keep an eye on how many stacks of life experience you have already accumulated. You can see here that we don't have any stack accumulated when it comes to life experience. So we want to start doing that. How do we do that? We use incantations with his allies on rank 2 or 3. Every incantation that I use on rank 2 with one of Marcus's allies accumulates 1 stack of life experience for himself. An incantation on rank number 3 would accumulate 2. So this is what we want to do. Now we can see that our rotation is a little bit scuffed. We don't really can accomplish what we want. So, right, we go back. The first thing that you do, you use your melody to rank up an additional incantation. In this case, it's for me the Lily Nectar for Anli. I use that first. Then I use the ultimates, so that when I deal damage with these ultimates, they already apply debuffs to my enemies as well. Now I used 1 incantation on rank 2. That means Marcus gains 1 stack of life experience. That is not enough, we want 2. You always, before you cast an incantation with Marcus, want to have at least 2 stacks of life experience accumulated for her, so that her incantation is able to consume these stacks of life experience to deal additional damage. Using our ultimate with Via will put her into the Rosalka status, which is very, very important for her. And using the ultimate with Mercuria will rank up our incantations from now on for 2 turns.
No turning back now.
Alright, now thanks to using Via's ultimate, we have accumulated a precast incantation that grants a Moxie and a Eureka to the target. Additionally, if the Euphoria would have been unlocked, then it would also grant the target that we use this precast incantation on this buff incantation here, the Song of Generosity and the Song of Passion, in fact, and that would increase the critical hit rate of the character. So you always want to use this precast incantation on Marcus now, every single turn. Remember, every 2 turns you have to recast your buffs. Now we use our buff incantation on our second character that deals mental damage. Normally that would be Hisabeth. In my case here, that is Mercuria, so I use my buff on Mercuria. Then remember, you have to recast the buff from Mercuria as well. That way you accumulate an insane amount of critical hit rate and critical hit damage for your main DPS. Plus you provide him with Eureka and Moxie. Now you see, we used 2 rank 2 incantations that will accumulate ourselves 2 stacks of life experience. Now we are ready to cast damage abilities with Marcus. The one that we always want to cast is Reading class, because it simply deals more damage. This incantation would now, if the Euphoria would have been unlocked, consume these 2 stacks of life experience that we just accumulated. That's what we want to do first. Now we don't have any stacks of life experience anymore that can be consumed, so now we would use the debuff that applies a stack of weakness.
Keep up the pace. There's no hope.
And that is what you do all the time. Those are your 2 rotations, right? You have this 1 rotation in the turn that you have to reapply your buffs to your team. And then you have a turn where you don't have to reapply the buffs. And yeah, you can then go as I showed. Right now we have our ultimate with Marcus unlocked though. And that changes things a tiny little bit again. Remember, we always use the precast incantation on which character was it? It was our main DPS Marcus, because of the Eureka and the Moxie that it applies. Now this is a turn where we don't have to reapply our buffs, we just did that, so we are free to use other stuff right here. Now again, you keep care of how many stacks of life experience have you accumulated. And you want to, before you use your ultimate, accumulate 2 stacks of life experience for Marcus, so that the ultimate consumes these stacks of life experience and would deal an additional damage. You can see here now for us, that is not possible because we don't have rank 2 or rank 3 incantations with our allies. Remember that using your melody can always help you accomplish that. In our case right here, what we want to do is use Mercuria's ultimate, apply a stack of weakness first, then hit him with Marcus's ultimate and deal additional damage with Marcus. How do we deal the most amount of damage with Marcus outside of his ultimate? This is the incantation Reading class, so we're gonna use that.
I am the waves in the ocean and the stars in the sky.
And you know, a good tip also is, now that these animations play out, you can use this time to already think about what you're gonna do next turn. What is the answer? What are we gonna do now in this turn? We have to reapply the buffs from Mercuria onto what target? Onto Marcus, because we don't have our ultimate and we don't have that precast incantation, and then we use our buff actively onto Marcus. Remember, ask yourself the question right now, answer this question. If you have the precast incantation for Via, what character do you use that on? If your answer wasn't the second character in my team that deals mental damage, go rewatch that guide, because you either missed something or you misunderstood something. Okay, now we have applied the buff with Via this turn. What are we gonna do now? We have to apply the buff from Mercuria to our team as well. Now, we have accumulated 2 stacks of life experience for Marcus. So, what incantation do we use to deal the most amount of damage? Reading class. Boom. Now we can see we have something else to do, right? We use the precast incantation to deal even more damage with Marcus. That is always if you realize that at the end of your rotation there is nothing you could really do, nothing to play it correctly. In that case, you just focus on what deals the most damage, and we already figured out that that is the incantation reading class, even if we can't consume the life experience stacks anymore because we wouldn't have any. Still your best choice. And that's how to play the Rankup team, guys. I hope that video was fun and informative. If you like Reverse1999 content in general, please consider leaving a follow on my channel. I would really appreciate it. But until next time, take care of yourselves, have a great day, and we love this game.